instead of oat lattes. My teeth have got way more yellow.
Really? Maybe that one. My teeth going yellow as well, maybe.
No, yours are right.
Yeah, well, there you go. Maybe
Mine yellow?
I wouldn't say the yellow.
The yellow,
Yeah, maybe, but I can't say I'm going to compare. I'm not that much of a rude guy.
fair enough.
I'm a pretty rude person sometimes, though. All right, live on YouTube. Attentive. Let me rename this again because I always name it the last thing. How annoying.
I guess so, yeah.
Hey.
NFL awards.
And
Predictions.
NFL 2000.
You don't want the rest of this beer, do you?
No.
I do wonder. I don't want to drink all this.
No, I would fuck that off so fast. There we go. I'm going to call it in capitals, see if that does anything for us. Okie dokie. Can I hear?
It feels so close.
Listen. Hey?
It feels so close.
I do. It's like now you say, I feel like I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah,
slightly.
literally.
Do you want to get? Oh, you've got it up there. Perfect. Do you want to put that in the middle for me too?
That works well then. It's good that I've started bringing my iPad again.
Yeah, 100% makes it handier. We can't get enough screens, can we?
Do you know why I started using the iPad again? Because I was like I wanted to take over the video stuff.
Yes.
Guess how many videos I've added on my
Zero.
on my iPad? Zero.
All on your phone.
No, yeah, all on my phone. Because it's all like through Instagram Reels is the best way to edit it.
Oh, really?
Instagram Reels is like biggest piece of piss and it's perfect.
So you don't need the feed one or anything, just watch it there. There you go.
It's literally I typed up so many YouTube tutorials, how to make TikToks, how to make Instagram Reels, blah, blah, blah. All said do it through the actual apps.
Wow.
So it's pretty good.
All right, sorry, YouTube listeners. I know there's plenty of you listening. We are starting.
Oh, they there.
Yep. All right. 3, 2, 1. G'day and welcome to the Wing It Podcast, episode 1 of the 2022 NFL season. We are back with the NFL. I'm going to say, for me, it's the number one American sport. We love it.
Yeah,
we get so invested. We love the NBA, but something about the NFL you get so invested in.
Yeah.
It's a shorter season, I think.
I think it's because the games are more sporadic as well.
Yeah.
Like they only come on the weekends. It's not every single day in your face. Like you could go a couple of days without watching the NBA.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't really care. I know there's going to be more games, but there's not a Friday or like a Monday that goes past where I'm not watching it.
No.
Because
Monday and Fridays they're a bludge day.
Yeah,
I don't work. I don't go to uni. I don't do anything. I just sit there and watch this all day because the game starts at 10. It doesn't finish till 1.
Yeah, I hope my boss isn't listening to this, but I do absolutely nothing. I have a lot of long weekends, Fridays, Mondays, watching all the games, Thursday night football, always good fun. And even stretches over to Tuesdays with the Monday night football. So
why do you think I made my uni days Fridays, Mondays and Tuesdays?
Smart man.
Moving on. All right,
anyway,
let's get into this episode. So we're going to go through our annual NFL preview. We're going to go through our predictions. So the classic awards, the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year award. We've got some real juicy tips for that one. We're keen on that. Offensive Rookie. What else are we doing? Our Bet of the Year, and then we'll finish up with our Super Bowl matchup. So just a quick preview going on to the season and what we like and what we don't like. So, without any further ado, let's get into the MVP.
MVP.
Let's start off with that.
It's always a huge talking point.
Very hard to pick as well. Every year you've got a couple clear favourites and you go, it's got to be one of them. And usually it's not.
Yeah, normally it isn't. And very, very rare for a player to go back-to-back with the MVP like we've just seen with Aaron Rodgers. But could it happen again this season? Aaron Rodgers back-to-back-to-back.
Well, I don't think Aaron Rodgers was even in the top 2 or 3 favourites the last 2 years because Josh Allen's always been number 1. Mahomes is there. Brady's there.
Yeah.
Rodgers around that 4 to 5 to 6 favourite. And he's won back-to-back, probably both years.
Yeah.
So it shows how spread out this can get.
Yeah.
But, contrary to popular belief, we are going with a couple of favourites here. We have to. I'm going on with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
We'll get into this in more detail later, but I think Kansas is going to be back to their best. Offense beats defense 99 times out of 100, I think, in the NFL anyway. So I think Patrick Mahomes he's due for another big year. You can't keep one of the greatest of all time down for that long, I don't think. No. So that's, for me, I think they win probably 13 games.
Yeah. And to your point with offense over defense, you can play as good defense as you want, but better offense is always going to win.
Yeah.
And you look at the playoffs last year as well. The 2 teams that made it were involved in shootouts throughout.
Whatever.
KC beat Buffalo in a massive shootout, one of the best games of all time, in my opinion, last year.
Definitely.
So, speaking of the Buffalo Bills, I'm going to be taking Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So, a bit of a boring pick. We picked the 2 favourites, but I really believe this year Josh Allen, it's going to be his year to win it. He's been favourite for last year and was top 5 favourite the year before that as well. He's really been waiting for that breakout last year he was second in rushing yards for the team.
Wow.
And obviously first in passing yards for the team with over 4,500 last year. So the reason I'm mainly picking Josh Allen is because I feel like it's going to go to a player who is going to dominate their division.
Yeah.
And Buffalo have one of the easiest divisions in football this year. They've got the Patriots, who I think will have a massive step back this year. And they've got the Dolphins, who I think will be quite good and contenders, but I think they'll beat up on them 2 times
At best, a 500 team.
Yeah, at best. And obviously
The Jets.
The Jets as well, so we're not even going to speak about them.
No.
But leading on to that point of why I think Josh Allen's going to win it, mainly being in an easy division, good quarterback in an easy division, I went through the last 7 years of quarterbacks, and the quarterback that has won it, the MVP, and the team they've been on, and how many wins better the team was in their division, or how many games they won by.
Yeah, compared to second in the division.
Compared to the second. So last year, obviously you had Aaron Rodgers, who won by 5 over Minnesota.
Wow,
the year before that, over 5 as well against Chicago. And then as you go back through the years, there's only one person who has won MVP whilst winning the division by under 4 wins.
So they usually smoke them.
They usually smoke them. So Patrick Mahomes is the outlier.
And that's a fair enough outlier.
Patrick Mahomes is often an outlier. So I sort of looked past that one. And one of the years that the team only won it by 4, they actually were the only team in the division to make the playoffs. So for that reason, I've gone with Josh Allen. And for that reason, I've gone with my roughie.
Okay, go on. Lead
so
into
a bit of a roundabout way to come to this. But I believe this player, he's had a fresh change of scenery. He's going to dominate his division. I hate that I'm picking it, but it's Matt Ryan.
Welcome to the Indianapolis Colts gang.
Matt Ryan, I hate backing against the Titans, and I hate saying that they're going to win the division, but I think it's going to be the biggest discrepancy between first and second in any division, and I feel like Matt Ryan is going to capitalise on the weapons that he's going to have there.
Well, let's think about the numbers he was putting up in that Atlanta team.
Yeah, exactly right. With Calvin Ridley, who just loves a punt, and Cordell Patterson. It wasn't really an offense that was built for him.
Child Pitts.
Exactly. And you look at, obviously, they've got Justin Taylor, who's been fantastic last year.
Jonathan Taylor,
and you got it wrong. And he's been unreal last year, included in the passing game as well.
Yep.
And it's going to provide that run-pass option that he's really never had, to be honest.
No,
We've not had much of. And also he's got Michael Pittman Jr., who's going to be one of the best receivers this year, I believe. In that Indiana offense that's just going to take over, I think. So
Carson Wentz put up very good numbers.
Yeah.
In a year where he struggled.
Yeah.
He ran away. He kept trying to make every play useless.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan is a former... was he an MVP that year?
He was.
He's a former MVP. He knows how to do it. He's a perennial guy.
When he's 16, he's done it before.
He's a perennial guy who averages those 300 yards. He's probably one of the only players you could back in for 300 yards every single night.
He's just a stat padder. He pads the
Stat
stats
Padford.
constantly.
He's a stat Padford. Yep.
And I think it's going to be a big part of why he wins MVP as well. Yep. And you wouldn't believe it.
I love it. Well done.
But Matt Ryan is actually paying $41
I don't mind that at all.
for MVP. So that's my roughie.
I
think Josh Allen was probably a lock for it. But my roughie of the year is Matt Ryan at $51 to win the MVP.
Really like that. Well done. I don't have as good of a description as Ducky does, unfortunately for mine. But I'm going with I'm wearing the Vikings, and I've got him behind me. But I'm going with Kirk Cousins for the MVP. I think Minnesota is going to be a playoff team this year. Actually, I know they're going to be a playoff team this year. 9-8 last year, missed out on playoffs. We're a better side this year. We've got an offensive coach. Kirk hasn't had that in his career, really. Back to his Washington days, even so. So I think Kirk now has the weapons of Thielen, of Jefferson, of Irv Smith, of Dalvin Cook. We are loaded offensively. He's going to love all those options. We've got stars everywhere. Our line is decent for the first time in a while. And I think Kevin O'Connell is just he's going to back Kirk in. Kirk, if you look at a lot of statistical categories, Kirk is always in the top 1 to 3 of quarterbacks. Whether it's passer rating, he's second of the last 10 years. Whether it's passing yards, he's top 5. He's always there. He's got the team and the coach mainly to back it up this year. And Justin Jefferson might just be the best player in the NFL this year. And who's going to be the reason for that? It's going to be Kirk. So I think Kirk could absolutely dominate. We're talking 35 plus touchdowns. It could be a seriously big year from him. And I think at $34, I think he is. Don't quote me on that. I think it's $34. I love it. I think I absolutely love it. We make the playoffs. I think we win our division, and therefore he has to have his hat in the ring, doesn't he?
Yeah. And I think Kevin O'Connell, as you said before, is just going to revolutionise this offense.
Yeah.
He's going to turn Justin Jefferson into Cooper Kupp and what Cooper Kupp was last year. I 100% believe that.
Yep.
I think the red zone target is going to be through the roof for Justin Jefferson. And that's why I took him with the second pick in our fantasy team.
I agree.
Our fantasy drafts. So
And you got Adam Thielen just sitting there doing nothing.
Exactly
He's
right.
going to dominate. So, huge year for Minnesota, huge year for Kirk Cousins.
And on to the defensive player of the year.
Tough one to pick as per.
Very tough.
So we've gone with a couple who are in the top half of the favourites, so I think that's fair. I've gone with TJ Watt. I mean, the Watts know how to get this job done, don't they? They're stars. I think Pittsburgh are going to be a little bit... they're going to rely on the defence a lot.
I'd say happily bet the under on every single Steelers game this season.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think they're going to rely on defence. That's all they're going to rely on. So TJ Watt's going to look like the star of the show. So I'll pack him in for Defensive Player of the Year. No other reason than that. He's just a star player, and stars win this award usually.
I like it a lot. And for me, I don't have such a long-winded reason as to my MVP pick, but I'm going to go with Micah Parsons.
Yeah, like it.
So Micah
Star.
Parsons last year for the Dallas Cowboys was unbelievable.
Yeah, star.
Do you know what position he played last year?
Linebacker?
He played a total of 7 positions.
Oh, wow.
He was a edge rusher.
Yeah.
He was linebacker. He played 7
Probably played
positions.
safety,
which-
would have played a lot. Yep.
Exactly. So I think that's actually going to work in his favour this year. It was seen last year as a little bit of a detriment to really not having the most amount of counting stats. But I feel like people have started to notice now, and with this Dallas team, obviously we know how good their defense is. They can be a really explosive defense with Trayvon Diggs, who was unbelievable last season. And Micah Parsons, once again, I think he's only going to continue to get better.
Leighton Federation, there's a lot there. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And he's going to have a really, really great season, a very versatile season as well. Maybe one that we've never seen before with certain stats with tackles and assists and sacks along with interceptions. So
Yeah, agree.
could be massive. But my roughie,
Yep.
a player that for this award, it would have been top 2 favourite for a few years running,
Probably the last 5 years, yeah.
and that's Khalil Mack.
Yeah, star.
Khalil Mack, he's gone to the Chargers, and he's going to be huge this season.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, did you forget about that?
forgot about
He's
that,
going to be huge this season in one of the reasons that they're going to win, I believe, the AFC West. And I think he could win Defensive Player of the Year. Bit of a roughie, $34, so not too bad at all.
Completely forgot.
And I think he could be right amongst it.
Yeah, agreed. Love that pick. I've got a Bradley Chubb, paying $26, I believe, from memory. I just love Denver. I love everything about them, and I love Bradley Chubb. He's a former Pro Bowler. He's shown he can get this done before. Yeah, big fan of Bradley Chubb. I'm not going to go any further detail than that. Denver are going to be a very, very good team, and I think he's going to be he's going to be the Bobby Wagner of this team. They're going to look to Bradley Chubb as their main guy, just like Seahawks did for many, many years. So that's enough to win Defensive Player of the Year for me.
A serious talent as well.
Oh, serious talent. I loved him coming out the draft. Serious. I'm calling for Defensive Rookie of the Year the year he was drafted, and I think he's just a star. So, all right, let's get on to Comeback Player of the Year. This is my tip of the year.
Yeah.
I'm so hot on this. It's not even fucking funny. I'm investing money into this bloke for collect his cards like no tomorrow.
I don't think you realise how invested he is.
I'm buying cards of this bloke every single day they are released. Travis Etienne at $26 for Comeback Player of the Year. Didn't play a game last year. Done it himself before the season even started. I actually can't confirm what the injury was. It slipped out of my mind. I think it was a knee, but I won't confirm that. But regardless, a season-ending injury before the season even started. That was a mouthful. Before the season even started, so didn't play a game. Now he's in the Jacksonville Jaguars team, which has a bit more stability the second time around. Has a T-Law who's not a rookie, not getting all the pressure. It's a bit more relaxed this time. He has
offensive line.
Better offensive line. He has a partner, Robinson, who's going to be there. He's not going to take the snaps.
No.
Not at all. He's not taking reps away from Etienne. But
Especially coming off a big injury himself.
Exactly, but he will provide support and a bit of relief. Etienne is overs. He was a star at Clemson, a star with T-Law. They worked together like clockworks. Thing is that what we like about him so much, he was training for this last year with Jacksonville before he got injured. They weren't even thinking about him as a running back last year. They were thinking about him as a wideout. He can play wide receiver. He's so athletic. He's going to be one of those two-way running backs. Be like a Deebo Samuel. I'm not even kidding. I think that could be the level we're thinking with him this year.
Huge.
Because they're going to need options. When they have Robinson back, they're going to need options, and I think he can provide that. Put him on the running back, he's going to give you 100 yards. Put him wide, he can give you 50. I think he's that type of talent, and I know he's that type of talent. He is the comeback player of the year. I'm locking that in.
Should have picked him up in fantasy then if you were that keen.
I tried to. I was very disgusted. But Travis Etienne at $26 is my tip for the comeback player of the year. I absolutely love it.
Comeback player of the year is one of those awards that I love being so invested in because it's those players who they faced so much adversity in the year beforehand. Well, that's the idea of it.
That's the idea.
And then they've come through and really burst through that adversity and been one of the best players in the league. And I feel like a man who's been there before and been there so much, that's Michael Thomas.
Star.
I feel like Michael Thomas could easily win this award. Obviously, he's had the last couple of years of riddled with injuries, hamstring injuries, foot injuries. Could have come back last year, but now he's rested, ready to go. He's got Jameis, who, say what you want about Jameis throwing interceptions. He threw 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns in a season. He is a serious player.
Not afraid of the moment. He would throw the ball.
Yeah, exactly. He's just going to sling it, and Michael Thomas is going to be there. One of the best route runners, one of the best slot receivers in the league, and he's absolutely huge as well, so he can be a huge target in the end zone. I feel like at $18, he's an absolutely fantastic bet for comeback player of the year. He's been a top 2, top 1 wide receiver before. I feel like he can do it again for this Saints outfit.
Completely agree. He might be the most forgotten player in the NFL the last 2 years, eh?
Yep.
Honestly, he was gone from the number 1 receiver in the league, behind Hopkins probably, to completely forgotten.
Yeah.
So yeah, big fan of that.
And I drafted him in fantasy, so
rate it.
Big fan of that.
Rate it. All right, roughies. We've both gone with decent odds here again. I've gone with a stinker at $48. I'm going to Danielle Hunter. I know, Minnesota again. I hear it, but I don't care. He is one of the most physical freaks we have in the league. He is one of those guys who's a JJ Watt type player. When he is up and about, he is unstoppable. He is seriously one of the top, I'll put him in the top 15 players in the league in terms of just offensively gifted, not offensively, but physically gifted, players. Star, you can't stop him. If he can get a clean run at it, he will have a serious shot at this. He's paying less money to win Defensive Player of the Year, so they're rating him, let alone Combat Player of the Year. So in a team where I think Minnesota is going to be harsh on defense with Harrison Smith, with all their players there, Danielle's really good odds. He's overs at 48. He's overs. He's going to be a star. If he can stay fit, that's the issue.
Yeah, this was one I mentioned to you the other day, and I absolutely loved it when I saw it. Obviously, last year didn't have the year that he would have wanted, but this year...
Couldn't go in the park, no.
This year, if he gets his body right, you're right. He could be up there with the Defensive Player of the Year in a Minnesota Vikings outfit that could, honestly, win their division. So I've gone with same odds as Michael Thomas for this one. But Michael Thomas, only $10 on a lot of bookies, $18 on Sportsbet, so get around that. But a player that is also $18 on most bookies, that is Saquon Barkley.
Oof.
So there's a lot of chatter about the year after the year for the ACL. Right. So the year you come back, you're not always the best, you're not always yourself, but it's the year after that is when you can really come back.
That checks out.
Like a Dak Prescott who did that.
Yep.
There's so many players throughout their career that did that. Joey B was pretty much the only player to break that trend last year. So I feel like Saquon this year, he's in the best position he's ever been in, which probably says more about his career than it does about this year, to be honest. He's just had a woeful start to his career in terms of offensive lines and offenses in general. But I feel like this year he's going to play a huge part, be the main star in their offense once again. He's going to be fully healthy this year, not going to be rested. He's going to get all the touches. And I feel like comeback player of the year is really on the cards as he pushes in to be one of the top 3 running backs in the league once again.
Yeah, love it. He's much like Danielle Hunter, and we know with the talent there. It's undeniable. It's just the body now, isn't it?
Exactly.
Completely agree. All right, on to our next one. Apparently, offensive rookie of the year. Apparently, I was so hyped. I've written Travis Etienne twice.
It's a good shout, but he's not a rookie, but it's a good shout.
I'm going to let you go first because I know who I want, but I can't remember his name. But you go for it first, Dogger. Who have you got for offensive rookie of the year?
So I'm going to go with, for my offensive rookie of the year, Dameon Pierce. I'm really high on this as well. In my heart of hearts, I believe the offensive rookie of the year is not so much about the player themselves. Like Dameon Pierce, drafted outside of the top 100, not one of the best running backs in the league, but he's going to have the role. He's going to be the number 1 running back in the league. Number 1 running back for Texas, not in the league. Or
Yep.
maybe, you never know.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like he's going to get the touches. He's going to have the opportunity to show how good he can be in this offense that probably will struggle in the passing game, in my opinion. They've got a player in Brandon Cooks who can be unbelievable, but I feel like running is going to be a big part of their offense, and Damian Pierce could really win Offensive Rookie of the Year from that.
Well, in terms of roles, he's probably the number one in terms of all of them. I'll go with Christian Watson, the receiver from Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers really likes to find a guy and hone in on that guy. We've seen it before. Even Alan Lazard came from nowhere, and he went to Lazard plenty of times over the last year or two. Obviously, Devontae Adams was his number one, but he picks his favourites. He always has. So I think with the lack of receivers this team has, Lazard's going to be number one. Watson might just fall into number two as it is. So as a second receiver in a team that's got an MVP caliber quarterback and a team that should be winning their division, how can he not have a good year?
Yep.
Simple as that.
And just like I said as well, with that role, it's more the role than the player.
Yeah.
So he's going to have that role. Say someone like a Lazard goes down injured, which is entirely possible in the brutal league that NFL is.
Yeah.
You could see him come through and just be the number one wide receiver for one of the highest octane offenses in the league.
100%. All right. Bet of the year. This is our one. So I've gone for $1.90, but Dog has gone for a roughie.
I'm so keen. This is one of my second most
for the year.
keen bet of
100%.
the year. Like, I'm so hyped for this.
All right, I'll go first then. I'll let you have the floor. My bet of the year is the Minnesota Vikings over 9.5 wins at $1.90. We win 10 games. Don't get it twisted. We won 8 games last year, I believe. 8 or 9 games last year. We're winning one more this year. It's as simple as that. We are winning 10 games. We're going to be an 11-6 type team. It's easy. It's a lock it in. It's lock it in. Minnesota at 9.5 wins is absolute lock. We're making the playoffs too. It's done.
Book it.
Book it in.
Love that. I completely agree. I think the Vikings are going to be really good this season. They have a real opportunity to win their division for the first time in years and years and years.
Not that long, but yeah, you're right.
But a division definitely dominated by the Packers over the last few years. Yes. So my bet of the year is a player who has been top 5 in receiving yards for the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. And this year he's adding a top 2, in my opinion, wide receiver to that list.
Oh, yeah.
A player he played with in college at Fresno State in an offense run by, in my opinion, the best offensive mastermind of the last 20 years. Potentially of the last 50 years.
Okay.
And that is Josh McDaniels running that offense. That is Devontae Adams coming into this team. And that is Derek Carr for the most passing yards in the season.
Like it.
At $13. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Derek Carr, a man who just absolutely bombs it down the field, been one of the most accurate, one of the leading quarterbacks in the league in terrible situations. Yep. Last year, their president quit on them. Their coach got caught in an email scandal with alleged racism and alleged sexism and everything.
And a mess.
And then his number one wide receiver literally killed someone. And he still came top 5 in receiving yards. You're telling me this man, he's actually added a really, really good wide receiver, one of the best in the league. He's got Hunter Renfrow there. He's got Darren Waller, who's one of the best tight ends in the league on a contract year. And he's got Josh McDaniels, who's one of the offensive masterminds of our generation. And you're telling me that he's paying $13 for most passing yards.
I like it.
I'm not saying they're going to be a great team. I think they're going to be terrible defense. And I think every single game for theirs is going to go over 50 points. So I'm going to be betting that every single week. But this man is paying $13 for most passing yards. Get on it right now. Get on it.
I really like it.
Gamble responsibly, but get on it.
Gamble irresponsibly for this.
I love it.
I really like that.
The amount of times I've multied this with the other bet coming soon that I love as well is filthy. It's ridiculous.
I really like it.
Get on it. Derek Carr. He's the man.
I like it. All right. Let's wrap this episode. Let's send this baby home with our Super Bowl matchup. All right. The AFC is as tough as it gets.
Yep.
The NFC is relatively gross. Bar 3 teams.
But both very hard to call for completely different reasons.
Yeah, you're right. AFC for competitiveness, NFC for...
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is, it's just tough to call.
It is.
So, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs to get out the AFC. They're due. 100% they're due. It's their time to shine, 100%. And I'm going with Minnesota Vikings in the NFC.
Oh, Cam.
I don't like the Rams, I don't like the Packers, and I don't like the Bucks. So, they're the best of the rest. Personally, they're the best of the rest.
Fair enough.
So I'm going Minnesota. I really am. Oh, no. Don't care. Don't want to hear it. I don't care what jersey's behind me and what I'm wearing right now. I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings to make it at the NFC and make the Super Bowl.
I'm a big fan of both those tips. I think Kansas will be back to their best. I think there's a real Ewing theory factor. If you listen to the Bill Simmons podcast, obviously one of the best players from Kansas, Tyreek Hill, has moved on, and I feel like they could go and make a Super Bowl from that as well.
Yeah, agreed.
And another team that I feel like has a Ewing theory potential is the Green Bay Packers. So the Green Bay Packers obviously lost Devontae Adams, not much depth on the receiver end whatsoever, but if there's a man who can make the most out of what he's got, it's Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. But Aaron Rodgers, I feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to take his team to the playoffs, and he's going to take his team to the Super Bowl. That is the Packers, and I feel like they're going to be facing a team that's going to have a very easy division. They're going to have a really nice ride, hopefully have some injury luck as well, and that is the Buffalo Bills. So I see a Buffalo Bills versus Green Bay Packers Super Bowl.
Going off script here. Oh, yeah, we have. Okay, all right.
There we go.
Wow.
That's what I reckon. Book it.
So essentially, going off our tips, if there is such a market in the world,
Yes.
bet the NFC North to make the Super Bowl.
Yes,
Because I've got one side and you've got the other.
exactly
So
right.
bet the NFC North to make the Super Bowl.
And probably just back the Packers, to be honest.
Uh,
I guarantee, I was trying to say it first on this podcast, big fan of Minnesota this year. I think they're going to be really good. I'm hearing every single report saying they're going to be good. They will let everyone down. They will let it. I am high on them. Everyone is high on them. Haven't heard anyone say a bad word about them. They will let everyone down.
We'll have this conversation on Monday at 9 a.m. and we'll
We will.
see once Minnesota beats Green Bay 40-10.
I hope they do.
We will.
But I feel like there's one team that's going to let everyone down, and it's got to be them.
Yeah, we are very good at that state.
Anyway, thank you very much for listening.
Yes, thank you.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram,
At Wing It Podcast.
follow us on TikTok,
At Wing It Podcast.
and also listen to us on Spotify.
At Wing It Podcast.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
It's a really good pod.
Yeah, I like that
really
too.